I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for a pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, this is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 7:50 p.m., the 27th day of March. We're convening in the Anna J. Herbert Meeting Room. Presiding officer is Joseph Broderick, President of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Dr. Michael A. Wonko, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopaz, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel, Dr. Gary Maida, Board Secretary, Mr. Thomas Fagu Jr., Acting School Business Administrator, Dr. Dennis Degnan, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Mr. Mitchell Pasquale, Esquire, our Board Counsel. Meeting's open to the public. I will take a roll call. Trustee Alonso.
Present.
Trustee CASAIS.
Here.
Trustee CRUDEN.
Here.
Trustee FINNERTY.
Here.
Trustee MUNOZ.
Here.
Trustee Ryan.
Here.
Trustee VALADO.
Here.
Vice President WILBECK.
Here.
President Broderick.
Here. For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving the time, date, and location of this meeting with the agenda was provided as follows. Notice was prominently posted in City Hall at 630 Avenue C on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The Board Secretary sent such notice to the Jersey Journal and the Bayonne Community News. Notice was filed with the Municipal Clerk of the City of Bayonne, Mr. Robert F. Sloan. All right, like 1 second before we start, we lost two of our past employees, part of our family, two terrific people. I knew both of them pretty well. One was Dottie, we called her Dottie B, Dottie Breakovich, and she was in our secretary in the processing department, and the other guy was a guy that everybody knew as a character and was one of a kind, Frank Young, who was an engineer, and he was a painter, and he did a bunch of things, but both of them will be sorely missed, so if we could have a moment of silence for those two. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. President, I'd like to start the meeting with our approval of minutes and our acceptance of communications. Do I have a motion
All motion.
and a second?
I'll second.
So on that motion and second, Trustee Alonso,
Yes.
Trustee CASAIS.
Yes.
Trustee CRUDEN.
Yes.
Trustee FINNERTY.
Yes.
Trustee MUNOZ.
Yes.
Trustee Ryan.
Yes.
Trustee VALADO.
Yes.
Vice President WILBECK.
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes. Before we go on, I don't know, where's Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Do you have something to say here, Mr. Clark? Would you like to? Was it?
Are we going to do it with the resolution?
Okay.
Maybe? Yeah, we'll say.
We'll wait on that.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay. Sorry. Take that back.
We will move on to our consent agenda, resolution, Section A, Curriculum, Instruction, and Policy, resolutions A1 through A9. Do I have a motion? Trustee Milano?
Yes.
Thank you. And a second?
Yes.
And a second. So we have a motion from Trustee Valado, and we have a second from Trustee CASAIS on the curriculum agenda. On that motion and second, Trustee CASAIS,
Yes.
Trustee CRUDEN,
Yes.
Trustee FINNERTY,
Abstain.
Trustee MUNOZ,
Yes.
Trustee Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee Valado,
Yes.
Trustee Alonso,
Yes.
Vice President WILBECK,
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes.
Next up is our B, Finance, Building and Grounds, resolutions B1 through B10. I'll take a motion and a second.
I'll move.
Motion by Trustee Alonso.
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
I'll second.
I'm sorry, there's a second by Trustee Ryan, but we do have a question first. Mr. Anthony D'Amico, 73 West 6th Street, has a question on Resolution B4. It's our monthly resolution for appropriation transfers.
Anthony D'Amico, 73 West 6th Street. I know it's a standard monthly, but I never really see the question get asked, but why are we not going to be sufficient to make these payments? I'm just curious, because, I mean, every year we get a balanced budget, and apparently we're in the black, so I was just curious with the line items of why we're not going to be sufficient to make these payments.
You just get up to a microphone, we'll get that answered for you.
Just take that.
Thanks for asking. So throughout the course of the budget year, some lines might have more charges against them than the previous year that the budget is projected on. In that case, we take money from other lines to move it into that line to satisfy that debt, and that's why it appears as though we don't have enough money, but we do, it's just in another line.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the finance agenda. On that will Trustee Cruden,
Yes.
Trustee Finnerty,
Yes.
Trustee Munoz,
Yes.
Trustee Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee VALADO,
Yes.
Trustee Alonso,
Yes.
Trustee CASAIS.
Yes.
Vice President WILBECK.
Yes.
President Broderick.
Yes.
Next up is our Personnel Section C, Resolution C1 to C21. Do I have a motion?
All motion.
Motion by Trustee Cruden and a second.
Second.
Second by Vice President Wilbeck. Before we take a vote, I would like to read the one resolution. I'd like to point out Resolution C21, whereas Alan D'Angelo has submitted a letter of resignation from the Bayonne Board of Education dated March 27, 2019, effective July 1, 2019. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts Mr. D'Angelo's resignation, effective July 1st, 2019. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education thanks Mr. D'Angelo for his 46 years of employment in the school district and authorizes the continuation of his full-time release through June 30th, 2019. On a personal note, Mr. D'Angelo, congratulations.
I might know you longer than anyone else in this room, probably, right? Going back to Snyder, way back when, huh? And, yeah, and then biggest arguments we ever had was I was always agreeing with you, but saying, but we don't have the money. I said, you're always right. He's going, I know I'm right, but... So, Mr. Clark, you have something to say?
Sure, yeah, I'd like to say a few words. June 30th will truly be the end of an era, because Alan has been the leader of the PTA for almost 30 years, I believe, and prior to that he held significant roles in their labor relations. So his imprint on the Bayonne Board of Education has been very significant. And I've had the pleasure of working with him for over 30 years now in different capacities. And when we first started, and you can see this by looking at the two of us, we both had a lot of hair. And I think he has more than me now, unfortunately, so maybe he came out the winner. But we also had a lot of energy, and I will say this about Alan. Throughout his 30 years of leadership, he has maintained that energy, and he's always exhibited a tremendous amount of passion for the people he represents and the ideals that he feels strongly about, and he has been successful in a lot of the things that he's pursued here at the Board of Education. And we spent many a night together, going home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we would have some, I think, some very intellectual conversation. We'd also have some arguments, sometimes some very loud arguments, and by the end of the night, we'd be exhausted. But I would say this, that I think we both had a lot of respect for each other throughout the entire process, and that's what labor relations is about. And I probably never thought I would say this, but I will miss you, Alan. And I hope the very best for you, and I'm sure that whatever your next endeavor is, you're going to be very successful in it, because you were very successful in your last endeavor. So good luck, and I know you're going to enjoy yourself.
I'd like to make a personal note here. I worked with Alan for over 34 years. And Alan and I butted heads. The thing that stands out most in my mind with Alan is, in his heart and his mind, was the benefit of the teachers. And I was glad that Alan was backing me, because I worked here for 34 years. And in fact, I was a union rep when Alan was president. And I always held Alan in very high regard because Alan had a passion. He really did. And if you didn't agree with it, well, that was another thing. But the point is that he had a passion, and he really loved what he was doing. And while I was a teacher, I went like, you don't want anybody better. You're not going to find any better than Alan. And, for those many years, we didn't. We had a number of predecessors, but Alan had that passion. He had that zeal, and you didn't really go up against him. And I always had a high regard for him, as we did have our falling out. But I do wish Alan the very, very, very best, because he does deserve the very, very best. He was great for the teachers, and now it's time for a new chapter. And I wish, Alan, I wish you the best, and I really hope you enjoy your retirement as much as I have enjoyed mine, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for all your years. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. On that motion and second, Trustee Finnerty,
Yes.
Trustee MUNOZ,
Yes.
Trustee Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee VALADO,
Yes.
Trustee Alonso.
After everything you guys said, I think, I don't want to lose you, Alan. I'm voting no.
Trustee CASAIS,
Yes.
Trustee CRUDEN,
Yes.
Vice President WILBECK,
Alan, good luck and best wishes, yes.
and President BRODERICK.
Yes.
That concludes our agenda, but I do have some questions from the audience. I'll ask Nicole Rivera to please come up, 139 Newman Avenue, Bayonne, New Jersey.
Okay. Good evening. Okay. I'm going to start with the pros. I have two daughters in this district. One is in third grade, one is in first. My third grade is doing very well, 90s and above in all her subjects. My youngest, who's in first grade, struggles with reading. I have a meeting scheduled Monday. I'm sorry, but I get very emotional because of my daughter.
Take your time.
I have a meeting scheduled Monday, so I'm going to hold off speaking to the specifics until I see the outcome of that meeting. So you might see me back next month, go to a bed and let you know what's happening. But the reason that I'm here is because I see the district moving forward in a lot of positive ways. I've seen the purchase of the foundations program, which I feel I see a difference in my daughter since her teacher started implementing it. So although she's struggling, I do see progress. However, foundations has a tier 1 level intervention, so that's a universal screening for the whole class. It should identify the most, you man up 20% of your kids that are struggling. With a tier 1 intervention, you're able to identify it. With your core reading program, you implement your foundations. My daughter falls in that group. Within that tier 1, you'll see that most kids will benefit from foundations, and my daughter has, but it's not enough. So although she receives Title I services, what I'm asking the board to do I would like for you to purchase, appropriate funds when it's there, tier 2, tier 3. So those are, the programs I would like are more scientific-based, research-based. It doesn't have to be necessarily Orton Gillingham, but any systematic, empirically based program where it's implemented with fidelity, meaning if they screen my daughter, she places at a certain level, or any child, because this helps all kids before they're classified, especially in the younger grades. Okay, we don't see learning gaps till much later. And I say we because the education is kind of where, and whatever. But I'm here as a mother. And I feel during Title I, they help the teachers, but the programs that they do there, they're trying to help the teachers with the core instruction, which if you're struggling, you need the foundations. You don't need extra help with the teachers, you need the bases. So during that time period is when, right now, foundations could be implemented, the district already has it, implemented again, so they don't even have to purchase anymore. But have the Title I teachers during that time period, in addition to my daughter and the other struggling students getting the interventions, they'll get it again in small groups, in a smaller setting. And I personally believe my daughter will benefit from a tier 3 level, which I'm not sure, I don't think the district has any that I've been aware of. I've reached out, no one's given me a definitive answer, so I'm thinking they haven't. So that's why I'm coming to you all. You know, whatever vendor you use, I'm just suggesting that it be, you know, all those vendors have, you know, the research behind it, but just that you make sure that the teachers do it and get it done. I've been asking since kindergarten. We're almost at the end of 2nd grade, and nothing's happening. The time period for screening, you know, for the diables, it's 6 months. Then special ed, another 6 months. Now we're at, you know, more meetings, but there's no plans really being implemented. And I don't think it's with malice that anybody's doing it. I believe her teachers, her Title I teachers, are helping her as best they could. But I'm asking you all to purchase maybe the programs so that they have a scientific-based program to help the kids. And, you know, this is the time to get them in the younger grades. And I believe that the district has been going forward, and I see it, even with the interfaces online, I have the app and things like that. So you are doing good things, and I would hope if you could please continue on that path. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rivera.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. Anthony D'Amico, 73 West 6th Street, with an open question.
Yeah, my open question was in regards to an article that I
Excuse me,
read.
Mr. Miklo, can you speak a little louder, please?
Yeah. It was in regards to an article I read. One of the trustees, I guess, wrote it saying that he was looking at $4 million in savings. I was just curious where he was finding $4 million in savings.
Am I allowed to answer?
Well,
I'm trying.
Well,
The $4 million that Michael said.
okay,
yeah,
sure.
sure, go ahead.
If you look at our CAFA report, you see that we got $6.5 million in the New Jersey Cash Management Fund, and we could easily, as you see, we don't have any problem doing transfers, so we could take it out of there.
Okay. I'm just saying that's.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's an investment account that we have. The board has a $6.5 million investment account.
Okay.
Okay, that was answered. Mr. D'Angelo?
No, thank you.
You sure? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Broderick, that is all I have for this evening. Oh, no, Arch didn't put a card in, he wasn't going to speak tonight unless you change your mind? No, forget it.
So you actually came here without planning to say anything? You sat through this willingly? Poor kid, man. Go home.
When we turn around, you dress so nice. You want the camera to see you.
You are awesome.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Please.
Motion by trustee Cruden, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Munoz. So I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Trustee Alonso. Yes. Trustee CASAIS. Yes. Trustee CRUDEN. Yes. Trustee FINNERTY.
Yes.
Trustee Munoz.
Yeah.
Trustee Ryan.
Yes.
Valado.
Yes.
Vice President WILBECK. President
Yes.
Broderick. It is 8:10. The board will not return, but trustees, we have one item inside.